computer. First of all, so many people have helped to get this Zoom meeting going. I've had so much help on learning the tech stuff. John Del Mundo, who's the brother of who Arlene and Joe Fell, is that right? Spent like over an hour last night with me, helping me to figure out the Zoom recording. And so there have been so many people that have helped out. And so I am really looking forward to this group. Last night, I was, I've several times I've said how excited I am for the group to be starting. And I really am excited, and I've been kind of freaked out, trying to remember all of the details of what needed to happen. And I just want to tell you, I was having trouble getting settled down last night to go to sleep because I was revved up and I kept thinking of stuff that I needed to do, and then worrying, am I not remembering something that is going to be super important? And I realized that I was too revved up. And so I stood by my bed and I did the stand down drill. And it took me about 3 minutes. And when I was done, I was calmer. I wasn't completely dead calm. I was calmer. And it was easier in that calmer state of mind to be able to sense the presence of Jesus in the room. And it wasn't something of, a big, like he appeared before me or something. It was like I quieted down so that, Jesus as the God of peace, who is already calm and quiet, so I could notice him. And I was able to just kind of, shut up for a few minutes and just be there in his calm presence. And I just felt reassurance and calm. And the main reassurance that I got was that the presence of Christ is here in this group as we meet together, and the presence of Christ is here as you study this stuff. It isn't just talking about my story or beyond writing or stuff about the brain. Our main goal and our main focus is going to be on learning to know God as the God of peace. And that's one particular name of God that is especially important for us when we are looking at talking about our fears. Okay, so and I wasn't able to go to sleep all that well because I sometimes have trouble with insomnia just in general, but I was calmer. And that's, I think, what we're looking for. There are a gazillion applications for this. And so I think this is going to be cool. So I'm going to share screen, and I've got two things up. Let's see if I can share this. Let's see what happens. I first want to, I'll see that shared screen there. This is on the second page of the very beginning. And I just want to go over, just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about this spring, okay? So this isn't just going to be training about the brain, but you see that we're going to spend 3 weeks on specifically talking about the brain and then figuring out the drills, okay? We're just going to do 2 weeks on just focusing mainly on the drills and how they apply to a bunch of different situations. But by the end of February, we are going to be moving beyond that to the things that we get afraid about, okay, or get worried about. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. And then part 4 is going to be talking about, we start out talking about Pilate as being mainly just this part in our brain. But by the end of March and the next couple of weeks, we shift into much more of an overtly Christian mindset of the mind of Christ, okay, and orienting ourselves in a deliberate way. Then part 5 is going to be a kind of a timeout. By then, if you stick with me, by then you will be really good at doing this. And so you will be finding all kinds of ways to help other people. And I see you not as babies in the Lord. I see you as people who have already seen a bunch of things, already have grown up in the faith somewhat. And so this will give you opportunity to, how do we apply this well to other people? Okay. The last one is the last areas of learning that I did. And also the May 8th one is me getting, just totally, losing the thread and coming back. So, I mean, it's like, and then we're going to have a week where we're, by the end of the first 3 weeks, I'm going to have you take a quiz. I mean, you already see what the quiz is, but at the end of our time, we're going to we're going to take a snapshot before and the snapshot after. And so I kind of want to wait until we finish this workshop, the focus on the brain, before we take the quiz, and then we'll see what happens with it after that. Does that make sense? So I am very much approaching this with the idea that I want there to be measurable change. Okay, not just, hey, we do a Bible study and then we put that book on the shelf and move on. I'm wanting it to be something that's intensely practical. Okay, all right, does that make sense? Any questions before we go on from there? All right, okay. Now in your notebook, now let's look at the first one of January 23. You know that, and it says Bible study, intro, the brain, and Pilate. Okay, and I want you to take a look at that page, which I totally forgot to upload first, so you'll just have to look at it on yours. You will notice that this first page has the reading assignment and a section, and then it'll have practicing the drills and a little place for notes, and then practicing to let the peace of Christ rule in my heart. Okay, this page is going to be exactly the same every week. The only difference is that today it's page 5 to 17, so that it'll list what the reading assignment is for the week. Okay, but this place right here is for you to write notes. And so it's what you found the most interesting, what you found most intriguing, or helpful, or if you had any questions, or, I'm not sure what's going on in this part. That's the place for that. So next week, when you're getting ready, and if you noticed it, when you first got this, these study questions, you might have had it already figured out for today, but I'm kind of not expecting that you would have, but we'll do what we can. The second, practicing the drills and practicing to let the peace of Christ rule, you're off the hook on that until we learn the drill. Okay? Right? Okay. All right.
So what page are we on?
Well,
what page are we on?
I sent 2 documents. One was part 1, and it gives you the It looks like this. The first page of it looks like this. Okay. And it has 4 pages, and
You sent it?
and I sent it to your email. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I don't have that.
Got it.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll get that to you. Let me write a note to send it again. Okay. All right.
Right.
And then the
So you give
second,
that to me tomorrow?
what?
Will you be able to give that to me tomorrow?
Sure, I could do that. I'd be happy to. Okay.
Okay,
The second part
thank you.
is called Study Guide Part 2, The Brain. And it has all the notes and things, and it looks like this. It has a little thing at the header at the top. Okay. And so you know, if
There you go.
you're not going to need it necessarily for the day. We'll be able to tap dance our way through it this morning. Okay, if you don't have it already. Okay, but those of you who do have it, let's turn over to the next one where it talks about the class time. So open discussion just for a few minutes. I'm assuming that most of you were able to do the reading, or at least part of the reading. So just based on what you've read so far, what did you find most interesting or intriguing or helpful, or a question that you had? So, you know, open it up to whoever wants to talk.
This is Teddy.
Yeah.
Hi. Just that there was a triune brain.
Isn't that amazing?
That was yeah.
I just love learning about it. That was a couple of pages further, and I'm even going to cover that a little bit in this one. So the whole idea of a triune brain, that we have a body brain and an emotional brain and a smart brain, is a mind blower, isn't it? Okay, somebody else.
It is. It's totally.
Yeah.
I really liked the prayer on page 17.
Yeah.
Jesus, help me to quiet myself, find you. I just feel like that's something I can use all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. There are going to be several prayers that are in this book that I think you'll really like. Yeah. Anybody else?
Just the different parts of it. Teddy here. In reading each one of those of the the second one, the that where we stay at 5 years old in that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wrote it down. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the infant.
Yeah.
The infant that we stay there. That blew me away. Like, well, but then that explained a lot of some of the, being that I have being that I'm in the dementia also.
Yeah.
That it's going to help me to understand maybe why some things, I don't know what I say or something, or maybe I'm coming from that region.
Yes.
But I'm just going to be great. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Oh, that's great.
Let me get my face back over here.
All right.
There I am.
Okay, great. All right. Anybody else had a question or a comment or anything before we move on?
Yeah, this is Diana. I don't know if you can hear me. You're not going to be able to see me. I'm sitting on the floor. Okay. On page 15, it's, my feeling. I have no self-awareness beyond the feeling. And it's so important for us to understand that feelings will take over. And the neat thing about all of this is that it takes over our body totally. That's where we always, I'm so stressed. Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, having going on here, we flip into survival mode, as we said, but then with pilot, we can mentally step back and observe.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, I did notice is I was right before I started reading this, and it reminded me, because I've taken some of this before, but I was noticing my breathing, and I was breathing very shallowly. And I've been breathing that way. I've had, with the moving and everything else, it's been stressful.
Yeah.
So I've been breathing that way for a while.
Okay.
I'm getting cramps in my legs. Well, I'm not. Yeah, that was very interesting to me. Anybody else in the class?
Yeah.
I guess that's it for us.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the second thing on the class time notes. It's referring to the testing my theory on page 9. And in the book, I'm showing this quote. And this was the one on that looks like on page 9. We're looking at this part that's in gray on page 9. Okay. But this is actually the outline of the whole Bible study that we're going to do this spring. When we notice that our body and our emotions have jumped into flight, fight, or freeze mode, if we first spend 2 to 3 minutes doing whichever drill best pulls us back into normal mode and then pray, we will find it much easier to fully connect with Jesus and find the peace of Christ. Okay. I'm not in any way saying that this is necessary for everybody, because it isn't necessary. Anytime we pray with faith, we will, Philippians 4, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, as we come before the Lord and pray, we will find the peace of Christ. But I'm just saying, a lot of times we have trouble bringing all of that stuff. We mainly are praying our fears. And so we need to kind of calm down so that we're not just praying our fears, but praying in a calmer way. Okay. So the first 3 lines of that are what we're going to do in this first 3 weeks. So I want you in your book or some, however you'd like, or on this paper, either one, I want you to circle. We're going to learn what to notice. Did you hear what Diana just said? She said, I noticed that my breathing was really shallow. And for her, because she's had this training before about, what the body's doing, she recognized that, oh, that's a symptom of revving up into fight or flight. And so now I know what to do. Okay, so we will learn what to notice. Okay, and the next part, our body and our emotions, we are going to learn our body. Some of you, when you get stressed, it hits you in your chest. Or where does it hit people? Where does fear hit people? I mean,
Your gut?
Does it hit you in your throat or in your stomach? Where does it hit you?
Me, it's the chest.
In the chest. Okay.
Right at the heart. Yeah, right in the chest.
Other people, where does it hit you? And you can tell, oh, it's like gulp. Where does that get you?
My stomach.
Your stomach. Okay. Stomach is a good place where it often hits. Somebody else.
Sorry.
Call from.
Okay, so anyway, we're going to learn what our body is doing. We're going to become much more knowledgeable about the symptoms of our body and the clues that our body and our emotions give us, okay? And we're going to learn a lot more about flight, fight, or freeze, just what's going on in our body, okay? For a lot of us, and I think before I started studying this, 3 or 4 years ago, I really did not understand my body, okay? And so if I would see fear, and then what do I do about it? And I'm just kind of, I don't know what to do, but I wish I knew so that I could fix it, okay? So this is kind of teaching what's going on with fight or flight or freeze. And then the last part in this first 3 weeks is learning the drill. Okay, if these symptoms happen, I do this drill. And if these symptoms happen, I do this drill. So isn't that cool? So It's like being a great teacher. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to teach you, and then we're going to do it, and then we're going to evaluate how we did. Okay. The next thing on the paper is reassurance. And this comes from page 5, but I just want to bring this up out into the open before we get too far going. It's the quote, "On one level, I'm scared to death to tackle my deepest fears and anxiety in such a public way." Doesn't it kind of freak you out to see, okay, I'm going to talk about my, anxiety in front of, all these people? That's, oh boy. Okay, right. Okay. So I'm using this quote that I'm saying about me, but I'm thinking this is the way I think we're all feeling a little bit. Okay. Any exploration of survivor mode, by definition, gets us into territory of our most embarrassing insecurities. But on another level, I'm happy to push the envelope and boldly blow the doors off because I have this gut feeling that the rewards will far exceed any temporary discomfort. The Lord is opposed to the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Okay, so I just want you to see this as a noble act of humility. If you talk about something that's going on, but I think that you can figure out what these fill in the blanks are even without me saying. So let's see what number 1. Trust me, you won't what more than I do. Reveal. Oh my gosh. By the time I got to about March of the year, when I was doing doing all these experiments, I was going, oh my gosh, I had the idea I was going to write a book about this. And by March I was going, I am so embarrassed to say that I was messing with this. I just am so embarrassed. And once again, for some reason, when you go through the book, when I do laundry, I get into an angry mode. I don't know what's the matter with me. But for some reason, and I thought, oh my gosh, people are going to see me as a pastor's wife, and they will know the jig is up. So it's lucky that I don't put myself on a pedestal and I try to knock myself off. But no possibility you'll think that I'm on a pedestal after you read this book. Okay. And by the way, just to make sure that I have, that I'm totally humbled and not by me doing anything great, I'm reading along on page 13 and I'm looking at, and it says in figure 2, brain development, and did anybody pick up on that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You mean the numbering off?
I know that I went through and fixed these numbers 3 separate times. And then I look at it and I had a sheet that had all 17 illustrations, and I went through and and so anyway, So first humbling thing, if you happen to see another typo, I wanted to run straight to Amazon and correct it right away. And I thought, my ladies will find more. So tell me. So I can't be all that, hey, here's me and how I did it kind of mode. This is fellow traveler all the way. Number
Dee Dee,
2, yes.
I struggled with, well, do I tell her or do I don't tell her about the
Tell
numbers?
me, just tell me. Yeah,
Okay.
I am humble. And by figure 12, the real 12, it sorts itself out. But
Okay.
gosh, but most of the cartoons and those cartoons are drawn by me, and I am not an artist, so I hope they make
They're
sense.
great.
Okay. The next one is 1 inch under the skin. We blank deal with the blank stuff. So what am I saying there?
We can,
We
I didn't
all
write it down.
deal with the same stuff. We all deal. And there's a verse about that.
Oh, okay.
1 Corinthians 10:13, no temptation has seized you except what is common to man. If you're saying, oh boy, I don't want to say, that I got upset at the kids. Well, no temptation has seized you except what is common to man. Anybody who is a mom knows the same thing. And God is faithful. He will not let you get tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can stand up under it. So I see this study as a way of God giving us a path to get out of things that we've had trouble getting out of before. So I see this as another tool in your toolkit, okay? Number 3, share only what you feel comfortable sharing, okay, saying, okay? This is a big group, and you all know that we're recording right now, and it's going to go out. It's going to be put up on YouTube, and so if you don't want to tell somebody something, it would be better not to share, then don't share it. Don't share it, okay? But feel free to share, anything about anger, anything about worry, anxiety, any of that stuff. We will all be able to do that. We're all dealing with that same stuff. Number 4, my door is always open. Whether you're in the live group or just watching the recording, text or call me if you run into a snag. I'm happy to talk to you and help you work it out. Okay? Makes sense? Any comments? Is that reassuring to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So my next plan of action is just to go through and kind of, I see that you have the, let's see, let's put this to the full screen. And I'm going to put nobody, I'm going to put you all off to the side for this. And this is the diagram on page 13. I just want to touch base and shout out to talk to me about what you understand about this diagram, just to make sure we know what we're talking about here. Okay. What's the main point of figure 1, talking about that arrow and the different body brain and emotional brain? Let's see.
I got something to share.
Yes, what?
This, just from what I'm seeing, your age has a lot to do with how you handle whatever's thrown at you. That's something we can see from the
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
And also, I'm assuming that it correlates because once you're getting into infancy, child, you're moving up toward, I mean, right, that you're more in your emotional brain state. And
Yeah,
as you get out into your early 20s and beyond, you're able to control that more.
yes. If we've been trained.
Yeah.
There, there are
We've been
some,
trained.
there are some people who never really get a fully developed pilot. These are the people that do road rage.
Oh,
Okay. And are reactive about things. Yeah. Okay. So the body brain is most primitive. Tell me anything else. What does it mainly handle in this, from what we know so far?
our automatic responses for breathing and heartbeat.
Good, good. Okay, great. So if body brain is not functional, the baby can't live. Okay. So we need to have body brain online. Emotional brain is the part that, what are some of the things that the emotional brain is doing as the big job when there's the baby is a baby toddler time. What are some of the things it's figuring out?
Teaching us happy and sad, pleasure
Yeah.
and pain,
Yes,
safe and safe.
yes. Okay, good. Okay, then the child, it's kind of like the smart brain is like a warehouse full of raw material. And for the child who, as the child is growing up, it kind of depends on what educational opportunities there are, what schooling there is, what's going on in the family. We'll be figuring out what the smart brain is. Okay. All right. Teenage and early adult. So do you have the book open? If you
Yes.
do, let's see. I have add-on things. Let's see if I can make it work. Where can I make it work? I'm gonna get off of that. Okay, close that out. And then I'm going to, let's see. Okay, I have some really cool. Okay, where did they go? So on your actual diagram, the cartoon,
Mhm.
which is really figure 1, not figure 2. Okay, so on page 13, just write pre-verbal and put an arrow toward body brain right there. Okay, it's pre-verbal. Do you know what pre-verbal is? That's the baby before the baby learns to talk.
The speech, okay.
Okay, so the body brain never gets to the place of being able to talk, and it stays that basic level. Okay, the emotional brain grows to be about 4 or 5 years old and stays there. Okay, so if you're 95 years old and you are walking into a new place that you've never been, emotional brain will be there feeling like, oh my gosh, will these people like me? Right?
Yeah.
Does my hair look
Yep.
nice? So this part always stays as a young child kind of view of the world.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see. This smart brain is the actual age. Okay, so imagine one of your children and how much so their body brain is baseline. Their emotional brain is always stays about 5 years old. If they're any older than that, their smart brain is the actual age. Okay, and so what's the last thing? The the pilot is the most mature self. And I don't know if, did I in the book talk about that this is like wisdom teeth? So there's the little dotted line there, because the pilot really does not develop until later in life, until your teenage years and up. So when your kids are starting, like 7 years old or something, they do not have a pilot. Okay. They're relying on you to be pilot. Okay. Any other comments? And then we're going to move on. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing good.
I have a comment. So
Yeah.
I also went through the workshop that you taught about this. So it might be stuff that hasn't been tackled, but just kind of as we're going through this, I have an encouragement that this mindset, this idea is really, really helpful in everyday life, whether it be looking at your kids, because then you start to realize, wait a minute, they're not just disrespecting me or whatever it is, like this is their brain development. It's at a certain point. So this is so helpful in your everyday life,
Yeah.
or even when you're dealing with an adult, you kind of click back in your mind and think, okay, they're obviously in their emotional brain state right now.
Yeah.
In general, like I just want to encourage everyone to keep plugging through, because I have seen so much, just having this image in my mind, it triggers something to even understand people.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So important. Yes. So if you have a child that is 8 years old, okay, and they don't have much of an internal pilot, how can they have pilot? Because they need pilot. Where do they get pilot from if they're 8 years old?
Parents.
Parents.
Parents, yes, yeah.
So when we are talking about training our pilot, this needs to be the way that we parent our children, so that we can help them calm down when they get freaked out. Okay. So
Oh,
what we're talking about when we go into pilot is super helpful for us to be good parents. Otherwise, we just get irritated, right? Okay.
yeah.
Right? Okay. I want to look at on page 15, where we start talking about the little diagram, upset me and the pilot. I just want to double check when through the whole rest of the book, we'll have little diagrams that show this little cartoon person that has the little jaggedy lines around them. And I just want you to understand what that's about. Okay, so tell me what that's about.
The jaggedy line?
Yeah, I mean, so the upset me, let's see, what do they really believe?
Well, you mean all these thoughts are flooding in?
Yeah, good. Somebody else. Let's imagine that this is the little kid in the aisle at Vaughn's, whose mom just said, "Oh, you can't have some candy." All right. Okay.
Looks like you're ready to explode.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
Their anxiety also too. Is she gonna give it to me?
Yes. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. I just wanted to point this one out to say, whenever we're talking about this box, we are okay. Whenever we're talking about the now, I'm showing it now in figure 4. whenever we see this little guy and then the jaggedy
Oh, okay.
lines, it fill in the blank depending on what I'm going to use this, some version of this diagram, number 4, pilot steps back, all the way through the book, okay? And so just understand that this is me, and pilot is me, okay? So I'm doing this. So this is me. This is the part of me that's upset. This is the part of me that's worried, or the part of me that is having a panic attack, or the part of me who is really overwhelmed with fear or discouragement. Okay, and how old is this part?
5.
5.
5 years old.
This part, just call it 5. Okay, so it's a little kid. Okay, so we step back, boom, 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 up to, we step back, and we've got the little pilot hat, and then the solid line is we step back so we can, so there's me, and then there's the observer me, and the observer me is just looking at me. Okay, all right, okay, it's evaluating. Okay, does that make sense to just explain that diagram? Anybody have any questions about that? You know, just the basic idea that that's what's going on. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's sort of like, it's like saying, what is your problem?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So any other comments or questions? Is this a helpful thought? This is what we are going to learn throughout this whole thing from now on through May. We are going to be doing this little thing over and over and over again. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can go to the next one. How do I get to the next one? Oh, wait. Okay, here. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can share it again. Okay, where am I? All right. Okay. I'm going back to here. Okay, and then I'm doing, okay. All right. I wanted to talk about this part of the pilot, because I think a big part of figuring out how to find pilot, okay? Because isn't pilot it's a totally new word. If you haven't, so this is like the pilot. So how do we step back into pilot? And I think that's one of the things that I wanted to just make sure we figure out, okay? I put on here, and do you have the page open in the book, just 16? Because that's what figure 4 is. So in the cartoon, I want you to put in wise and kind adult me is the pilot. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Because I want to give you some clues so that you will know what to what part to step up into, because we're kind of going, okay, what? Okay, I get the idea that there's a part of me that's upset, but I don't know exactly what to mentally step up into. So that's what I want to just kind of nail down. We want to go find the part of you that is the nicest part and wisest part. This is my Christian self. When I'm, it's the most mature part. Okay. And then let me look. And I think that you will, I think it's easiest if you think about this as being, this is the hat you put on when you're helping a little kid. if you get angry at somebody who's afraid, that you make them more afraid. Okay. So we don't, this isn't a, hey, knock it off, hey, you horrible person. It's for us to step up into being an adult. And, do you see isn't that a sweet picture of the mom and the little kid? That's a really good picture of now having the little kid be, the little upset me. All right. And then the mom who's looking at this mom is understanding that the baby doesn't know a lot. Okay. And so that's where this thing comes up, the calm, assessing, curious, and kind, that part. This is a nice mom. Or look at the one down below. This is a police officer, or somebody, you got a uniform. All right. He normally does policing kind of things, but this little kid looks like he's lost. All right. So he instinctively crouches down, and this is a good picture of the pilot being curious. How are you doing? What's going on? Do you see both of them are calm, and both of them are kind of assessing. Does this make sense? Is that a helpful idea to think of this as the nice mom?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This is the mom when the kid wakes up with a nightmare, who goes in to help the child get calm and go back to sleep. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else have a comment? We okay?
Here we go. I'm sorry, my mute was on. Is that the officer getting down to the child's level is also being very kind.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
He's not being scary then.
No. Instinctively, this will be, can make yourself smaller so the child isn't intimidated by you. Assessing when the nurse takes the temperature, in the ER, does the nurse get angry if the temperature is 103?
No.
Huh?
Concern.
Oh, I mean, she's just getting the info.
Oh, okay.
She's just getting the info. So that's what we want is that we're just getting the info. We're just checking things out. Okay. And how would we be curious about our own feelings? What is that about?
Well, would that be why am I feeling this way?
Yes.
Being curious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want everybody to just stop, and I'm going to keep it on this so there's no chance anybody's seeing your face, but I want us to just practice this for a couple of minutes, okay? I want you to just mentally step back, and it's like you find a kid that's lost and you're out on a hiking trail, okay? And you run across a 6-year-old that is crying on the trail, and mentally step back into that nice adult, wear that nice adult hat, okay? All right. Okay. And so now I want you to just so let's just practice with pilot for a second, okay? So from this vantage point of I'm the wise and I'm a kind adult, I want you to check around in your body and notice anything that's going on in your body that is, just something to notice. And how about if we think about our feet? just to pick a spot. Okay, so I want you to get quiet. I'll get quiet, and I want you to just notice what's going on with your feet, just to figure it out. Okay, and you don't have to say what it is, but let me know when you've done it. Okay.
I have.
Okay. All right. Now I want you to feel around, just get quiet, and I want you to feel around and feel any thought that is going through your mind. If you have any feeling attached to it, just notice that and notice what that feeling is, okay? And you don't have to say what it is, just notice it.
Got it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop this. All right, how did that go? How did that go for people?
Good.
I would say that the first thing I noticed, just in making this, like that scenario, there's a kid and I'm helping the kid. Like the first thing I noticed as soon as you said get quiet was my face was like instinctively kind of turning into a smile to not frighten the person.
Yeah.
He felt very soft. There was no firm stance.
Yeah.
The whole body language is very open and inviting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. What else?
Well, I noticed with my feet that they were relaxed, so
Good.
they were calm.
Good.
You know, it was
Good.
calming.
All right. So this is, and wasn't it, I mean, had you been thinking about your feet? Had anybody been
No.
thinking about their feet before? Huh?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just why I picked and now you're all, oh my gosh, my feet are killing me. My shoes are killing me. Okay. This idea, we're just wanting to assess. Okay. I want to make the distinction. This is not, if we have something where we have gotten angry at our brother, there will be a conviction of sin about that. Okay. So I don't want to, I want to make a distinction between those two things. The conviction of sin, I need to take very seriously and be very firm to not be paying attention to it. Okay. And I need to get over that. Okay. But if I'm revved up into anger, it will help me to calm down. If I treat that as that it's the 5-year-old, I kind of distance myself and I'm noticing what's going on. I'm becoming aware. Oh, I'm stepping up into anger and I need to knock it off. And so how do I go about doing that? Okay. It's easier when it's something like worry, because I mean, we have been trained ever since we were kids that it's a mom's job to worry about her children, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm noble. I am so noble. If my children are in trouble, I am so noble. I just worry about them all the time, right? Right? And there is Paul says that I always have the concern for the churches. Okay, so concern is good, worry is not so good.
No.
Okay, but this is to step back and to evaluate that. And so there is going to be stuff when you step back that is, okay, this is just plain sin, knock it off. All right. But there is going to be this part that this is fear. My body is activated into fear or discouragement, and I need to do something to pull myself back. into normal mode. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right.
Yes.
So
uh-huh.
that's, and if it is fear, the part of you that is afraid is just like that little kid. And so I personally,
Mhm.
I find it so much more helpful to see it as a part of me, not the whole me. All right. And to see it as a kid
Mhm.
that, okay, I can help calm this kid down. And it doesn't, this isn't me. This is a part of me that hijacked me. Okay.
Oh,
Then
okay.
this is
That
a
makes
part
sense.
of
Yes.
me that
Yeah.
hijacked me into fear. I'm
Mhm.
up here and I've decided, you know what? I don't need to be afraid. And so I calm myself
Right.
down. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Does that make
Very
sense?
clear now. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So when you are practicing doing pilot, think of, the guy who's, down on the same level as the little kid that's lost.
Mhm.
All right. We're just wanting to calm that part down. Okay. Makes sense?
Right.
And did I have,
Okay.
oh,
Yes.
let's see, I have one last thing to do on the sharing. Let's see if I can get there without, where am I? Okay, so let me go back to this one, and full screen, and I'm gonna see. So what does it mean to collect ourselves? I just, before we went, I'm wanting to pick this up. This is back on our notebook, okay? It's page 3 of the collecting ourselves part 1, the brain, okay? What does it mean to collect ourselves? I just looked it up this last week, and the free dictionary says it means to compose ourselves so that our actions are not dictated by our emotions. Isn't that a great
Mhm. Yeah.
definition? That's what we want. We want to not have our emotions run the show. Okay. And the second one is, and I'm adding, by the end of this class, we will aim to compose ourselves so that our actions and our mindset are not dictated by our flesh. Okay. Um, the
That our
so our
our actions and our actions and our what?
mindset are
Oh,
not,
okay. Got it.
okay,
Sorry.
are not dictated by our flesh. Okay.
Flesh.
We will learn how to collect the body brain, the emotional brain, the smart brain, and the pilot. Okay. We're going to collect all of that stuff together. Okay. And let's see, for this class, we will learn how to collect our body, our emotions, our mind, so we can calmly sense the presence of Jesus and then pray with an undivided heart. Okay.
Oh, that's on the next one.
Wait a minute. Okay.
I don't see that.
It should
Where'd
be
it go?
the last one. It's by figure 5, upset me and pilot me and Jesus.
Oh, got it in the book. I was thinking it was on the paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We will learn how to collect our body, okay, which is the upset me,
Uh-huh.
our emotions, our mind, which is the smart brain, and our Christian self. Okay.
Okay.
So we can calmly sense the presence of Jesus. For me, the whole goal, the absolute whole goal is to find the presence of Christ. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna go back. Did I miss one?
Yeah, there's something.
No, I didn't. I'm back at the.
Hmm?
I'm back at. So does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right. let me get out of this. Stop share. Okay. How are we doing on time? It is now 11:30. We have been whipping through this. Isn't this cool?
Yes.
Yes. How do you like?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you like it so far? Did it help to do a little practice with Pilot?
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
It helped to understand it.
Yes. Okay. The main things that I'll be covering in this group in the next, this week and next and the third week is I'm just focusing on the things that you'll need so that you'll be able to do the drills. The drills by themselves are great, but if you just do the drill and then walk away, I don't think that it helps in the moment to calm you down, but I don't think it helps solve the problem. Okay. And
Right.
through the book, I say over and over again, so I might as well say it here and be totally redundant. But I think it's you can go to Google and find brain drills that are, mindfulness, I mean, there's like a gazillion mindfulness things, right? And so any pagan can go and learn how to do these drills. So let's say you get, you open the mail and there's a bill that you weren't expecting and it's for $592. And you go, yeah. And your body goes,
Yeah.
right? And you just hijack right into, so anybody can learn to know, oh, I've revved up, my heart is beating faster. You learn the symptoms that I've revved up, and so I need to do stand down. And so they'll do the right drill and they'll get to the end and now they're calm and they're still looking at a bill for $592. What am I gonna do about it? Right? Okay. So my feeling is that I have no interest in teaching just the drills because you can go anywhere to do that. All right. It's good for every person to learn how to do these drills. All right. Because all of us, get afraid and worried or overwhelmed sometime or another. But to me, what the beauty of this is that when I do a drill and I do a stand down or a grounding, and it quiets me and it collects me, so I'm all of my parts and pieces are together. So I am collected and the my best self, and Pilot is controlling the show by saying, you know what, you need to do a drill, and then we do the drill. We end up with calm. And I want to say, what I do next is to just be quiet and like Spidey sense, I just close my eyes. Okay, Jesus, where are you in this room?
Yes.
I know you're here. Okay, so where are you? I don't know. Some people are not that literal minded, but I am. Sometimes I sense the presence of Jesus deep within my heart. Sometimes I sense the presence of Jesus right in front of me. Sometimes I sense the presence of Jesus to the side. I mean, it's, am I crazy? Does anybody else have that where,
No.
okay, Layla's saying, okay, so does that make,
You're not. You're good.
How do you sense the presence of the Lord? I mean, what is it like for you when you get quiet and you feel around and you can sense the presence of the Lord? does anybody have tips on that, or you know, I mean, what is it like? Layla was shaking your head. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel that way. You have to be quiet to let it in, but sometimes he's in your heart or holding your
Uh-huh.
hand or a voice in your head.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I don't
Well,
dictate. Yeah. Good. Arlene.
okay. Well, for me, when I do that, I tend to just like, I close my eyes, I do, and then, but I say, Lord, I don't even want to think about anything. I don't even want to pray right. I mean, I don't want to ask for anything right
Yeah.
now, because once you ask, you tend to like think about more stuff and you
Yeah.
become more emotional
Yeah.
and things like that. Sometimes you just when times when you're overwhelmed, you just like, I just be quiet and I just say, I don't want to think, Lord, right now. I just want to feel your presence. You know, you
Yeah.
just ended up doing that.
Mhm.
So
Good.
there's times that yeah, I do that. So it's just too much. I mean, too much thinking. You know, you're like
Yeah.
you constantly pray. You know, you pray a lot of things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ah, too much going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, forget it, Lord. I'm just here. I'm here. I just want to feel your presence. That's all.
Good. Good.
Mhm.
Really good word. Anybody else have any suggestions or things that you've learned to do of how, when you calm down, how you can sense the presence of the Lord?
Well, with me, especially when you go to bed and all those thoughts are whirling around, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach my daughter this, is to take a deep breath and just ask God to sort of release me from my thoughts so that I can hear your voice
That's a great,
within. And I can't even tell you how long, because I'm asleep,
yeah.
and I have heard his voice in that, and that's what got me to my home right now, is because he told me what to do when I was moving to Vegas. And it's amazing if you calm yourself and listen,
Yeah.
you know. And it was definitely him, because it wasn't was well, what if I do this? The thought was, what can you do?
Yeah.
You know, it was like, what do you call it, the third party? Is
Yeah.
that what you in speech? Yeah, it was not my thought at all.
Yeah.
And I did what it said, and here I am in
Yeah.
my new mobile home,
Well, that's really
in
cool.
walking distance to my daughter,
Oh.
where they had rejected me before.
Oh.
But he told me how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I give everything to the Lord now. I just, there's no doubt that he's taking care of me.
Good.
If something comes up, I said, it's yours, Lord. You know, I dismiss it from me. You take care of it, what the Lord tells you to do.
Yes.
And you know he's all around you.
Yeah. Anybody else have a suggestion or a comment? Good.
Hmm?
This is something to practice this week. We have the drill, that, you know, the little practice thing that is on page, what is that page? 17, timeout, find and activate pilot. So that gives you a place to practice if you need practice. And so we're all ready to do the reading
Good.
for next time. You excited
Yep.
about that? Okay. Any last comments or questions as we close out our time? We're doing really good.
Yeah. Question, are we going to do it this way on Zoom instead
Yeah.
of YouTube?
We are doing this group as
Okay.
a Zoom meeting. And as soon as this is done and I end the recording, what we have done as a group will be, I will save it to my computer and then I'll upload it to the YouTube channel. Have all of you clicked
Okay.
subscribe to that
Yes.
YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you haven't already, click the button to, see that advertisement.
You're breaking up.
Okay. The link is, can you see me now? I need feedback. Can you see me now?
I didn't hear your last part. I
Okay,
can see
We
you
can
now.
see you now.
Yeah. hold on.
okay, all right.
You're clear.
Okay. We are doing this as a Zoom meeting. And then when I end the recording, I will save it to my computer and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube because it'll be too big of a document to send by email. Okay. So it'll be up
Oh, yeah.
on YouTube. Okay. So if you have not clicked, onto that Collecting Ourselves YouTube channel, go do that and then you'll be able to see it. But I'll give you a link. I'll give you a link of where to see.
Okay.
Okay. So when you go up to the thing, then make sure you have subscribed. Okay.
Okay.
Any last comments,
Great.
thoughts? How are you doing? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Did you learn something?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Always.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much for
Oh,
doing this.
sure. Sure. Let me see. I'm going to stop the recording now.